There's a lot of upheaval and stuff going on in the world of movie theaters. Even now that the pandemic is in the rearview mirror, we are still living in that period of time that we are feeling the effects of the pandemic, especially movie theaters. We've talked a lot about the fact that because of the pandemic, it threw a lot of the scheduling and release dates and all that kind of stuff out. We have gone months at a time this year without major tentpole films coming out, something that 2023 is going to remedy. But that has left a lot of movie theaters struggling, including the second biggest movie theater chain in the world, Cineworld, the company that also owns Regal Cinemas. And they had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Doesn't mean they're going out of business. It's just that they had to file for bankruptcy protection so that they could reorganize their business and try to come back healthy. Well, now, according to a story in IndieWire, it looks like AMC Theaters is looking to try to take advantage of the situation and actually buy Cineworld, which would include Regal Cinemas. They wrote the following. AMC Entertainment, the largest movie exhibitor chain in the US and actually the world, nearly purchased Cineworld theaters out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The news was revealed on the December 21st in an 8K filing with the SEC that surprised even some inner circle AMC employees, IndieWire is told. The takeover doesn't sound like it's happening, a person with knowledge of the talks tells us, but anything remains possible. This gets interesting. Cineworld's lenders, the people Cineworld owes money to, and AMC held discussions focused on the acquisition of certain strategic theater assets of Cineworld in the United States and Europe, including Regal Cinemas, the 8K reads. The purchase would have been partially financed through the issuance of AMC's APEs and other debt financing. Of course, it would have been through APEs, but more on that a little bit later. A definitive agreement between AMC Entertainment and Cineworld's lenders has not been reached, and at this time, negotiations are not continuing, filing said. Okay, so what we know for fact is AMC tried to make a move to buy Regal, and that it doesn't look like it's happening now, but it's still on the table. This still could happen. How? In an environment where movie theaters are struggling, could one movie theater chain, like an AMC Theaters, possibly have the liquidity to be able to come out and buy a Cineworld and their Regal theaters right out? Well, there's two reasons. Reason number one is because right now, Cineworld and Regal is as cheap as it will ever be. Being in Chapter 11 finance means you can buy out the debts, and now you can have the controlling interest. And it has never been and never will be less expensive than it is right now to do it. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is because the executives at AMC have golden Lucky Charm horseshoes shoved up their asses. In that, completely unrelated to anything they did, somebody somewhere decided to make AMC stock a meme stock and artificially drive up the stock from $2 to $72 or whatever it was, making the company billions. And while they may have fell ass backwards lucky because left to their own devices, I'm going to tell you right now, AMC Theaters would be bankrupt right now. They would be out of business. I'm going to tell you that right now because they're being led by a bunch of incompetent morons over there. But they fell ass backwards in luck, got this meme stock thing going, and then give credit where it's due. They made a smart play. Seeing how far high up their stock went, that had nothing to do with them, they decided, let's sell a lot of stock. And they did. And that was the right move, and that was smart, full credit where it's due. They decided, let's sell a lot of that stock that has been artificially inflated. And they did, and they raised a tremendous amount of capital. And that's why they're still in business, and that's why they got money in the bank. And you know what? And continuing in the trend of giving credit where it's due, if you got that money and you can see an opportunity to really establish dominance in the market and to swoop up not just the name Regal, but the locations, the facilities, the infrastructure. It is, and I can't believe I'm saying this about any company that buffoon Adam Aaron runs. Tell us how you really feel, John. But it's the right move. It's oh my God, it's the smart move. But it is. I'll give credit where it's due. It's the smart move. You got that liquidity, you got that money, put it to work, dominate that. So if the industry does do what you think it's going to do and what the industry itself thinks is going to happen, which you're going to see a pretty significant resurgence in 2023 with all the big tentpoles coming back out, the movie, the product is being poured back out into the movie theaters again. I mean, just look at the release schedule in June and July. It's like dizzying. But why not, if you're in a position at the cheapest point it's ever going to be at, and you've got all the money and you can sweep in, take over those locations, it's the right move. Now, it looks like it didn't work out, but it could still. But Rob, I will be the first one to, when AMC many times does really stupid ass things, I will come on here and talk about it. But if I'm going to do that, I got to give kudos where it's due. It may not have worked out, and maybe it will. But them trying to take advantage of the situation that they fell ass backwards lucky into and leverage that to do something really smart is what they try to do. And you know what? I got to give them props for it because that was the right move, and maybe it'll still work out, maybe it won't. Hey guys, we want to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of this video, DraftKings. This time of year, everyone's excited for the holiday spirit, but what about all the basketball? When it's time to throw down on the NBA action, it's gotta be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pregame moneyline on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same game parlays. Just download the DraftKings app, use the code Campea, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win, and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code Campea only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gaming resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonuses issued as free bets. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this story. What's your takeaway from it?
I think you're exactly right. I mean, you take this opportunity. This is how business is done. You know, whether they had inflated meme stock or not, they put some money away. They had some money to use, and when an opportunity arises, you buy low and sell high, or buy low, invest low, and then hopefully you get a return. Look, the only way that movie theaters are going to survive anyway is to continue providing a great time for people at the films, at the picture shows, wherever. And the thing to do there is to make sure that the presentation is great. And AMC partnering up with Dolby for their Dolby Cinemas was a great thing. And I remember the first time I was there, it was with you, seeing Joker. And I'm like, this is the kind of presentation that I expect when I go to the movie theaters.
Yep, the AMC Primes, Dolby Primes are still my favorite. That was done under the previous CEO who was a genius. That was Jerry. When he was CEO there,
But look, the only places that I've gone that have been reliable are AMC, Dolby Cinemas, and IMAX theaters. I don't think I've ever been let down with the presentation in those places. And that's all I want. All I want when I go to the movies is great presentation. And I think, look, that always is the case. The reason 3D failed in this country is because the presentation was terrible. That most of the time the bulbs are too low. It didn't really work. Nobody understood.
Not because it's a useless gimmick that adds nothing to a movie?
No, I disagree. I think that 3D properly presented, look, it is a gimmick. It is. It always was a gimmick, even back in the 50s. But if you have great presentation, and that's why seeing Avatar wear the water, because they've spent some time making sure that presentation was good. That's what I want. And I think AMC was doing a great job. But like you said, if they don't think they have to spend money on bulbs, they dim their bulbs. I'm like, they're never going to succeed. And right now, more than ever, movie theaters have to provide a great experience for the people that go.
Yeah, which means taking out 35 minutes of ads before movie starts as well.
Yeah, and I will say this. I was at the Regal IMAX to see Way of Water, and they had 30 minutes of commercials in an IMAX theater.
Unforgivable.
That was not fun.
Did you see their ad? Their opening ad with Machete? Danny Trejo? He's in their opening.
Yes.
They have like a Nicole Kidman thing too.
Yes.
Or is it like for the 4DX? I don't know, but I remember that's a terrible ad.
Well, look, you cannot play commercials over your IMAX sound system. I was ready to put a bullet in my face. It was so loud and shrill. I mean, it was like, why are you doing this to your patrons?
Why are
Turn
you
down
making
the
your
sound.
paying patrons sit through 30 minutes of ads in the first place? It's you know what? Somebody brought this up in the live chat, and it's a good idea. You know, in this room, we have a stock expert, at least a stock expert compared to this room. The guy who really knows stocks and the market and stuff like that. That's
Taylor.
Jonathan Voico. That's Taylor. Buy every share of Puss in Boots. Every share of Puss in Boots now. But Jonathan, you know, you're looking at this story about, you know, this has been a fascinating thing to follow for a while. Like, what's your assessment of it?
I mean, times are tough, and I think what happened was they were going to expand with the Cineworld thing, and I think investors came back and said, you know, you got debts to pay, not theaters to buy up. And I think they're looking more. So like they released this preferred stock. It's called APE is the ticker, and the whole idea was to sell it off and bring in more money. So they did. They brought in like $100-something million. Instead of using that to buy more theaters, they're using it to pay off interest on their loans on their debt. And I think they had to kind of back away from, hey, we're going to spend this on more theaters that we don't know if those are going to pay off or not. So they're just being more conservative is my thoughts on it.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, I'm personally glad it did, even though I think it was the right move for AMC to try to do. I'm glad it didn't go through because I like having different options and two major theater chains. But anyway, how do you guys feel about this? What's your takeaway? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.